all of you on crafting such a beautiful story that has been amazing for 5 seasons now. And speaking of that story, Naren, first for you, how have you let the books guide you, or specifically this book, because season 5 is different in that the Rocinante crew is kind of separated. How do you handle that?
The books have always been the guide. I mean, we try to stay really close to it. We stay on plot. We stay. The big stuff doesn't change, and Ty and Daniel are right there to make sure I don't screw things up too bad or stop me from some really dumb mistakes. Yeah, I mean, book 5 is a very faithful adaptation book to screen. It was challenging because everybody is in a different place. The storylines are independent, but they're also really tightly connected together. So, honestly, it's one of my favorite seasons, possibly my favorite season so far. I can't wait for the fans to see it.
Yeah, I really loved it too. And Ty and Daniel, obviously we are all very upset that we're not going to get it past season 6. But how, for you, does it affect like what is going to be included in season 6? How can you all make sure that you're going to have the right ending?
Well, I mean, go ahead, Daniel.
I was just going to say we talked about various kinds of structures for the show for years, and a 6-season version of this is something that's been on the plate since season 3, since the last time we got canceled. So this is not something that has thrown us. It's not something that we're being caught off guard. I feel really comfortable creatively for where we're going with this.
Yeah, and that said, the season 6 ends about where book 6 ends. The end of book 6 is a nice place to take a pause in the story. We still have 3 other books after that. They'll still exist.
And, revivals are always something that people love. Do you think that, for example, in, I don't know, maybe not 30 years, we don't want to wait that long, but when the actors are old enough to look like they could believably be 30 years older, would you guys be willing to pick up with like Expanse returns?
Well, Naren will be long dead by that point, so we can't wait that long.
Nice. People, we have to wait 30 years to do that. It's like, I think in season 1 of The Expanse, we talked about Avasarala being like in her 90s, or and some of the ambassadors being over 100, and it's like, so
they just don't age very much. It's fine. In 5 years. We'll get someone else to make this happen again with you guys. I love that.
I think so.
It's a big world.
It's a big world.
Now, The Expanse has always been relevant in terms of it being humanity having to come together, separate factions, in the face of a larger common threat. And I think that couldn't possibly be more relevant than right now on many levels. Are you conscious of that? Were you conscious of that while doing season 5, and now going, into season 6? Does it affect how you view your story in any way? If you want to start that.
I mean, we've talked about this a lot, actually, the fact that history is constantly repeating. So if you do something that you're riffing on an event from 20 years ago, or 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago, it's always going to feel like you're talking about today, because humans do the same stupid stuff over and over and over again. I mean, we weren't deliberately talking about current events when we were writing the book or the show, but there's a lot of commentary in what we did that does seem to apply to current events, just because of the cyclical nature of history.
Now, given that it's going to necessitate the removal of a core cast member in season 6, can you guys talk at all about how you'll be handling Alex's story?
Gracefully.
Okay.
Well said, Daniel. Well said,
I accept this. And then finally, Naomi and Holden are like my favorite relationship. I think it's amazing how healthy they are given the environment they're in. Can you guys talk a little bit about that romance and making it really brutal?
Well, I think that really comes, I hope, from the original books, and I think that comes in the original books from the fact that Ty and I are both married to people we really, really like. So we have a certain amount of experience with, you know, having romances that don't turn toxic and awful.
There are many stable marriages in our group. It's actually quite interesting. It's like my wife and I have been married for 20 plus years. And so it's like there's a maybe that is reflected in the choice of material. I will say one thing about Holden and Naomi though. What I like about the way they start this season is it does feel the most warm and settled, and they're committed to each other, but it feels like you've earned it after lots of ups and downs. And it's part of what I think gives a lot of the emotional arcs in season 5 their weight, is that we built up to them. It's been kind of a slow movement to get there, and these all feel like really nice payoffs in so many ways.
Definitely. Well, thank you all so much. I love The Expanse, and you guys have done amazing work. So
Thank
congratulations.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.